Recording in progress.
The meeting will come to order now. 6 o'clock. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Don.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Ms. Miller,
Here.
Mr. Etherly, Mr. Messina,
Present.
Dr. Miller, Mr. St. Columbia.
Present.
Ms. Davis. 5 present, 1 absent.
Perfect, thank you. So we do have a quorum, but we can get started this evening. Our first order of old business, Madam Clerk sent out an email that consisted of the minutes from July 21st and 23rd. If they're, assuming everyone had an opportunity to review those, if there are no, if there aren't any oppositions to that, I'll entertain a motion. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I so move.
Is there a second? Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. St. Columbia,
Yes.
Mr. Messina,
Yes.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Etherly.
Yes.
5 yes.
Motion passes. All right, jumping into our new business, we're starting off this meeting with a public meeting and a public hearing as it relates to our A&P Helena River Boardwalk Improvement Project. With us today, we have the director, Ms. Helen Halbert, who's going to come up and give us a presentation on the status of that project and the ways that the city can help partner. So,
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council, and I appreciate all of you that are here to attend this meeting. My name is Helen Halbert, and I'm the Executive Director for the A&P Commission, and I apologize, my voice is a little weak today, so I'll try to muddle through. The A&P Commission is interested in applying for a grant through the Office of Outdoor Recreation for the purpose of renovating and upgrading our boardwalk. We feel like the boardwalk is a really special asset to the city, and it's something that needs a little extra help right now, and we're hoping to get some grant money to help us do that. So I was just going to share with y'all a little bit of information about us. Our mission, a tree that fell on the boardwalk, and we got the tree removed, but we still have some damage from it. It sort of dislocated the bench that was there that really wasn't in great shape to begin with. This photo over here shows an ongoing problem that we've had where the entrance of the boardwalk meets the parking lot, and that's a real dangerous situation. That is something that we are actively working on getting corrected right now. I've been working with Mr. Weiland, the city engineer, to figure out the best way to do that, and it's likely that we will probably try to get that fixed even before, if we're lucky enough to get this grant, even before then we'll probably address that problem. That's just from another angle. And then the boards have just, a lot of the boards have worn over time. No, you can go ahead. I'll let you get through. Additionally, there have been some signs out there that address different things like birding and some of the history of the community, and a grant through the Office of Outdoor Recreation. This is a matching grant that the state offers, and so A&P is going to be responsible for the match portion of the money. It's important because we want to keep this boardwalk usable. We want to be able to use it for years to come. We feel like it's something that's unique to our river park situation. Not many communities are on the river at all, much less have a nice piece of, where you can actually access the river and get directly out there on it. This would be a real boost to our outdoor recreation as an asset, and it would just strengthen our position for a tourism destination. And that's really all I have. I'll try to entertain questions if anybody has any, but we just wanted to come and tell you a little bit about what we're doing. And the plan for this would be to put in the application at the end of August, and we would hear something back before Thanksgiving, more than likely, but it would be probably next spring, early summer, before construction would begin on the project if we are awarded the grant. Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
So, this is a matching grant, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any?
Table in front of all the council people, and it would require passing this resolution so that we are authorized to apply for the grant and use the AMP money to do that. So if y'all want to take that up at a later point in your meeting, that's fine.
Are there any questions from the body? I think that, as Ms. Halbert mentioned, the AMP has been a really good partner to the city, and they funded projects that help us improve our quality of life here. So,
Good evening to the mayor and to all the city council and employees of Helena-West Helena. I'm Phyllis Hammonds, and what I have requesting for two events and your approval of those events. I'm going to start with the Centennial one. This is the 150th anniversary of Centennial Church, although it is falling apart. And however, the legacy of the church lives on, and I have done some additional events so people can know the history of the church and not just the traditional. And I've been thinking through this over and over again, not just the traditional kind of thing you bring in a speaker and you talk about the history, but want to do things where the community can participate in learning about the history in fun and informative ways. So that's another reason why I want to have a little bit more time in order to do that. So I'll have to redo the application for the Centennial event, but hopefully we'll get the historical marker up around the same time we do the one for the Walnut Street Remembered. So do you have any questions about that? The next one is, it just kind of fell in my lap. The Walnut Street Remembered event. I am a descendant of, my father had businesses on Walnut Street, and of course, we grew up going to the Miller Theater and all the other wonderful places that were on Walnut Street. It's quite interesting in the fact that as I have done more and more research, it's just the most interesting research that I have ever done. If I were still in school, if my teacher wanted to know what I did over the summer, that would be it, doing the research on Walnut Street. I'm just going to tell you just a little bit about it. Most people do not know that Walnut Street came to be because of the churches that were built. The first Baptist black church was built in 1865 when the Union troops came in, when they were here, occupied the city. They helped the Reverend J.T. White find a place to worship. And J.T. White was a free man who came to Helena per the request of people who were at a church convention. And his first church was in horse stables that the unions had provided. The second church for African Americans was Carter Chapel. CME Church, and it was founded in 1865. Then along came Centennial. So historically, blues, but we have not. But the pioneers of the blues, that many of them had the opportunity to come back before they died here, King Biscuit Blues Festival, but a lot of people did not know that they honed their skills on Walnut Street. And there's a lot of discussion about Helena being the home of the blues. And I'm not a bluesologist, I'm a community historian, but there's a lot of controversy about who had it first. But we do know that both the blues, he's not as well known as the others, and that's what we're trying to do, is to get that message out, and he'll talk about that. We're going to have a couple events, and they've kind of changed since I wrote that proposal to the city. We're going to turn Friday night into an awards event to honor the pioneer blues singers. We're going to call their names, and we're going to feature Houston Stackhouse as our golden awardee, because the fact that he nurtured many of the next generation of blues singers. We're also going to honor some other individuals. I'm not going to call everybody's name, but these are people you know. And one person that I considered my friend when I was on the advisory board for the Delta Culture Center was Sonny Payne. And we were really friends. And when I see him at Walmart, he said, "Oh, there's my friend," and we would hug and embrace, because he was instrumental in promoting how the blues got beyond the Arkansas Delta was because of KFFA, and then eventually Sonny Payne became the DJ. And I remember him saying if it hadn't been for those pioneer blues singers, that he wouldn't have had the position that he had, and I admired him for saying that. We're going to also honor, here I'm losing my thought, we're going to honor Lonnie Shields. We're going to also honor James Morgan. James Morgan honed his skills at Eliza Miller. When I was in school, we called him out James Brown, because he did the whole cake thing like James Brown did. And it was so much fun. We were all the young girls, we would scream and holler. And it was just a lot of fun. And then we have Tennyson Price. He is an Eliza Miller alum. And he was also on that stage. And George Powers, who is our board member, is going to talk a little bit more about that. And he's also going to be on the King Biscuit Blues stage. But he is another person that he's in his 70s, but he can do the James Brown. And so he deserves to be recognized. We're also going to honor, of course, like I indicated, the Houston Stackhouse Sr. is our main focus. He's our golden man, so to speak. And the descendants of him, which Houston is going to come and talk to you in a minute, was also a musician. And then if you remember Philip Stackhouse, which was the son of Houston, you know, they go by 1 and 2, Houston 2, and who's here. And we're going to honor him because he was up and coming musician, but due to his illness, unfortunately, he passed. There are other individuals, and that's going to happen on Friday night at Eliza Miller. And then we're going to motorcade to Walnut Street. Hopefully, we'll have the unveiling of the Walnut Street historical marker. And if everything goes well, we'll do the Centennial and the Centennial one. But we're going to have what we call a tour of Walnut Street. Of course, you might think there's nothing there, but the spirit lives on. We had some of the top clubs in the Delta and in Mississippi, but once there, we know where they are. We know the owners of those. Some of them have descendants that are still living, and they will be a part of it, and we're going to do a tour. We're also going to stop by the Delta Cultural Center, because that's where the largest display of those pioneers that who honed their skills at Walnut Street, left there, went further north to Memphis, Chicago, and even to the West Coast. And then we will engage youth, young people in this event, because if we want the legacy of the blues to continue, we have to educate them. And there are a lot of young adults who don't know the story about Walnut Street. Some people turn their nose, but we remember, right, George? We remember Walnut Street, and it was a wonderful place to be. It was second to Cherry Street. It was alive and well, and some of you might have seen the video that we did, and we're getting ready to update it and add some more exciting things to it. So at this time, I would like to present to you our descendant of the blues pioneer, Houston Stackhouse, the second, as they say, Stack Two, and his lovely wife.
Thank you, Phyllis. First, I'd like to give honor to God, my father, my mother. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. I'd like to give thanks to the mayor, city council, Walnut Street Group, for this opportunity to speak on behalf of my father, my family, and another opportunity to speak on behalf of my father and put his name out. For years, I've tried to make people aware of my father and his contributions to music. I've held positions as president of the Blues Foundation, which was an international group. It's located in Memphis. I held 3 terms as the president of that. I was president of Sunday Boy Blues Society here in Helena. Governor Jim Guy Tucker appointed me to the Arkansas Entertainers Hall of Fame Board years ago. I was on the board of Main Street Helena, which at that time owned King Biscuit Blues Festival. I was co-chairman of, at that time, of the King Biscuit Blues Festival. I've never stopped trying to put my father's name in a position where people could recognize him and understand contributions he made. My dad was a quiet man. He didn't talk about what he did. He just showed people what he could do. He never was a front man, he was a back man. He played behind people. He never wanted to be out front, to be known as the star. He wanted to help other people shine. And I guess that's been my role ever since I've been out here. I've been a music promoter. James Morgan and I, we had a production company. We booked bands and put on shows. At the end of the shows, we paid our entertainers, and they bought hamburgers and bought steaks, and I couldn't buy anything but a pack of peanut butter crackers and a Coke. But I was satisfied because my entertainers were well compensated. I believe in supporting people. So when Phyllis asked me if I would be a part of the Walnut Street group, I didn't hesitate. I wanted to help. Phyllis and I, people may not believe it, but we were old Sunday school people. We belonged to Centennial Church. I wanted to help, just like I've always wanted to help Helena. And I believe this will help Helena as well. Everything you can do positive will help Helena. But getting back to why I'm here. My dad, of course, he played on KFFA radio. He was one of the King Biscuit boys. He played with Sonny Boy Williamson, James Speck Curtis. He played with Dudlow Taylor. He played with Willie Love, Robert Lockwood Jr. Sonny Payne used to always tell me, and Sonny, man, he was knowledgeable. He would call me every chance he get when he'd see me somewhere. He said, Stack, they don't give your dad enough credit. Your daddy was the man. He said, and they just don't give him enough credit. I thought about it, and that encouraged me a lot to want to get out there and really push myself and make people aware of who my dad was. One story I'm going to tell you about that really opened my eyes to who my dad was. When I was a young kid, I don't even think I was a teenager yet. I didn't listen to the news that much, but the news was on one day. And I know everybody heard the song Rainy Night in Georgia. Old Brooke Benton, he made it famous, but he didn't write that song. This guy by the name of Tony Joe White, he put out Little Green Apples. He was talking, he was being interviewed, and they asked him, said, who are some of the people that inspired you to write the music you wrote? And he was naming out a list of people. He said, there's one person that you probably don't even know of, you probably never heard of. He said, a blues man by the name of Houston Stackhouse. I turned around and looked at TV. I said, what? Nobody was in the house but me. That started me to paying attention to my dad. Because now, I hadn't seen my dad until then. I saw my dad in a different light. Another thing, my dad used to come home and tell my brother, yeah, I've been out with Ike and Tina Turner. I said to myself, man, back there, I said, look, excuse me, sir. I said, my son would like to get Ike Turner's autograph. You think that's possible? Well, mind you there, Ike Turner had been to King Biscuit the year before. And he was a butthole. Couldn't nobody talk to him. I told my son, I said, I don't know if we're going to be able to get his autograph because he was difficult at King Biscuit last year. So his keyboard player said, well, I don't know. He said, well, what's your name? I said, my name is Houston Stackhouse. He said, whoa, what? I said, yeah. He said, the guitar player's son? I said, yeah. He said, Stack your daddy? I said, yeah. He said, man, he said, your daddy used to be over the clock center with me and Ike all the time, man. He used to be over there with us all the time. I looked at him. He said, well, he gonna want to talk to you. Damn. Made me see my dad in a different light. And I knew I had a tough road to hold. I knew I had to get out there and put my dad's name out there so people would know who my dad was. People in the blues industry knew my dad. People around here didn't. I had to make people in Helena-West know who my dad was. My dad played with folks like Jimmy Rogers, Sammy Lawhorn, Earl Hooker, Willie Love, Roosevelt Sykes. Give you an idea about Mr. Roosevelt Sykes. He was considered to be the father of the modern blues and piano style. He was born in Helena, Arkansas. A lot of us don't even know that. And he developed his piano style from piano players in the Helena area in the 1920s. And in 1925, Sykes met Leotis Lee Pork Chops Green while Green was playing piano in West Helena. See, folks don't know that. And then by the mid-1930s, Helena was the blues capital of the Delta. And Sykes played in gambling dens along Walnut Street and the side streets closer to the river. That just goes to show. Now, that was before KFFA King Biscuit time. So, Walnut Street had an important part to play in the blues. Helena was the blues capital. So I say that to say, we've got the history. All we're asking for is for people to support us in what we're doing. We talk about generations. My child, he's a third generation musician. I'm the second in line. I played that music because I didn't play it. I played at it. Last time I played music was 1976. I was in the orchestra at Phillips College. I needed that one credit to get my little degree so I can get out of there, and never picked up an instrument again. And the way I managed to get that scholarship was from my former band director. He was the director of the college orchestra at Phillips College, and he saw me walking campus. He said, Mr. Stackhouse, he said, I need a concert bass player. Are you available? I said, man, I don't play music anymore. He said, but I need you. I said, well, I'll think about it. It was getting close to time for that last semester, and I needed that one credit. I wouldn't have found him. I said, was that full scholarship still available? And see, I need to pay for those books too. So I needed that scholarship. He said, well, that scholarship I had is gone. He said, but tell you what, this is my dad. All you who don't know him, and this is him on my shirt too. We honor him as much as we can. This is the original Stack. That's what I called him, the original Stack. And this is Philip, third in line musician. But the original Stack and third in line musician, they were the most talented in the family that I know of. And if there's anything that I could do to manage in any kind of way recognition for them, then that's my job. I'm going to do it because they deserve it. And all they ever tried to do when they were here was to do their best, and they were good at it. So, in closing, I will say, whatever we can do to promote Walnut Street and whatever support can be given by the city of Helena and any other entity, we'd appreciate it. And on that note, I'll say thank you for your time, and may God bless.
Thank you. We're there.
Next, we have George Powers, who's on the board of West Side Unit, and Hiram. We're collaborating with Delta Magic on this, so he's representing Delta Magic.
Good evening. Good evening.
Evening.
I didn't go to Centennial Church. I'm a, how can I say, I was a gypsy that came out of Oklahoma City into Helena-West Helena area in 1965. And I was in the last black class of Eliza Miller High. We didn't have that much entertainment coming up. We would watch the Ed Sullivan Show and with the Shindig, 16, 17 years old. Drinking. We were. That's how we had fun back in the day. Wasn't any violence. Nobody had any guns or anything like that. We were right down there on Walnut Street where we all were friends. They were the juke joints going on. They call them juke joints now, but they were just jamming places for us, like Ham's Place, Kale's Night Spot, the Teenage Club. Some of y'all probably been in there.
Yes, sir.
Those were the places that we went.
Amen.
We had fun down there. if we have a little brawl or something, the next day at school, hey, we were back friends. It wasn't like it is now. I'm just letting y'all reminisce what we went through back then. Those were fun days. We need to bring some of that back, and we need to bring that history that we have on Walnut Street and let everybody know about it, let the world know about it, what you do down in the country. This is where everybody can get along and do things together. And the historian, Miss Phyllis Hammonds, is one of the ones that's bringing it out. And I want y'all to know that when you see her, you need to talk to her. You can tell her history. I could see Mr. Granville Miller's, your uncle, your father. My mother worked with your dad. She was LPN up at the hospital. And she worked hard. We worked hard. Everybody down here were hard-working people. And that's what we need to get back to down here. I want to say bye.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Kyron Williams. I'm the program manager of Delta Magic, and we will be supporting with the Walnut Street project with supporting purchasing the signage for the marker, the street marker. The day, September 5th, we will be giving tours through Gist Music and the Walnut Street District. And lastly, we will be supporting by collaborating with other organizers to promote and celebrate the Walnut Street stories. Thank you.
We're still building and creating for that weekend. We hope that you will approve of our events and the whole effort. We're really excited about it, and people, this one lady said to me, if I had known all this was going on, they say they're coming home. And that's what we want. We want people to come home and reminisce, and also to help build Walnut Street. And in our video we said Walnut Street moving forward. We're not just focusing on the history, but we're also focusing on moving it forward. And people have all kinds of ideas, and Honorable Mayor, I do hope in the council that some of these ideas will come to fruition. Perhaps we need to have a community meeting at some point and talk about it. And I told them, I said, now I'm just discovering the hidden history of Walnut Street. My task is not to move it forward. I have some ideas, but we're still digging deep, and I just want to thank the team that's volunteering. We're not getting paid any money for doing this. We're doing this because we care about our hometown, and we want to bring Helena back. So I want to thank personally the Stackhouses, George, who is my sidekick, and Buddy, and there are some other individuals that could not be here tonight. So we really appreciate if you will approve this.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me, I omitted one thing. T-shirt, I forgot to mention that this is a project that my wife started. I'd like to introduce her to the council. Kimiko Stackhouse, this is her project. She did all of this herself. I did not have to put a gun on her. I did not have to threaten her. She took it on her own. So Kim, could you just stand up, please? I get long-winded and I tend to overlook some things, but she's the one that came up with the design for the T-shirt, and she took the ball and she ran with it. So I just didn't want to leave her out. And I didn't think about it until I sat down. So as you can say, sometimes you sit on your brain, and it came to me when I sat down. But this is her T-shirt design, so.
And we'll be selling, they'll be selling.
Well, kudos to you that he sat on his brain and that he gave me kudos. Because before Phyllis called him with her project, I told him that I wanted to do something based on something that happened a couple years ago, and I wanted to bring it to fruition. And thank God, I feel like the only thing that's a failure is not a try. And he's right. When I wanted him to be behind me, he was like, oh, yeah, whatever. Like he said,
I just told her whatever she wanted to do, just
whatever,
go
you
ahead
know.
and do it.
And I got in behind him, and he was like, okay, that's your project. I couldn't light a fire up under him like I wanted to light the fire up under him. But he was like, oh, okay, whatever, you have at it, you know. So I was like, dang, can't get no satisfaction, can't get no respect. But I got it. And I had some people that helped me during the Blues Festival that knew about his dad. They knew the history. And I'll name them. There's Carla, what is Carla's last name? Carla Robinson, I think that's her name. And Mr. Wes Horner. Mr. Wes Horner, he was very, very, very helpful. They welcomed me down there last year. I told them what I wanted to do. I got with them, and they said they'd do anything to help me, and they did. They gave me a prime spot down there at the Blues Festival last year. I couldn't get him to come up with the reason we're with this design here is because there's a picture that's in my living room that's on my wall. That's all I had of his dad and the stories that he told me. But I wanted to do something to support him. And at the last minute, he was like, oh, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. So I was like, okay, I got this picture, and we got it done. So whatever y'all can do, because his dad deserves it. He does, because as they were saying, I remember that man playing that little harmonica, the guitar, about 5 or 6 things I remember his dad playing when I was a kid, you know. So Miss Stackhouse deserves this. He does, and she lit a fire up under him, so thank you for lighting that fire up under him and bringing this out to you guys, and whatever y'all can do to support him, thank y'all, because I feel like he does. I was born here. I want Helena back, okay? I want us back where when we were kids coming up and we had something to do here. I looked at Clarksdale and the Blues Festival last year, you know, and I look at other cities in Memphis, and I hear people that say they don't want to come back here because there's nothing to do. I haven't seen my son in like 6 years because he says, Mom, I don't have anywhere to stay down there. I don't have any hotels. So we need to do something to get Helena back. Whatever we can do, whatever events we can have, whatever things we can do to generate some money and bring some cleanness and some peace, and what George said, people getting along here with one another, we need to do that as a community, because this little community used to thrive. Helena-West Helena, we had things to do. So I just want people to know what Helena had. I don't want it to be all the bad things that were said about Helena. When I know anything about Helena, somebody got to call me from Memphis or Atlanta or something to say, oh, what's going on in Helena? I live right here. And I don't know a lot of the bad things that go on in Helena, but Helena is no different than any of the big cities because they're killing one another here, right here in Helena. And there's only 10 of us down here, probably about 25 of us in here right now. But my point being, there's murder here in Helena, you know, so I want Helena to be good for good things. So kudos to everybody that's trying to do something that loves Helena and wants us to not just fall over in the river and disappear. We're not going anywhere. Helena's here to stay. This is home for a lot of us, you know. Some of us came back, some of us didn't come back, but this is home for a lot of us, you know. And I want us to do great things here in Helena. So thank you guys for listening to all of us, everything that was said, everything that was presented. And I hope y'all can do whatever y'all can to, if we get together, you know, there's power in numbers, we can make some things happen. Thank you guys for listening.
One last thing, I want to introduce Lisa A. Vance. I want you to know that Helena was very well represented at the Folklore Festival in North Little Rock. Marianne Goldsberry and her grandson and group sang, and then we were there talking about Walnut Street. And they had this place they call On the Porch, And we just sat on the porch, and it started at 5. Do you know what time we left? At 7. People had so many questions about Walnut Street. They had heard of Walnut Street, but they didn't know anything. And Lisa went. Both of us worked together to make it happen. So I just wanted to present Lisa.
That was real nice. I was impressed. It was a executive assistant to a CEO at Southern Bank, I think it's Southern Bancorp from Little Rock. They had actually sent her to come listen to Phyllis that Saturday, and it was really, really hot. But I was amazed at the people that came through to listen, and you'd be amazed at the people that are interested in the history of Walnut Street and the blues, because y'all, blues have affected the world. And a lot of that started right here, and we need to embrace history. We really do. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I might say, I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled, the fact of Walnut Street project. And I think it ought to go on record that this city council supports you wholeheartedly, 100% in the project that you're doing. I was born on Walnut Street in 1938, so that you can tell how old I am now. I usually don't. But my grandfather came to America in 1892, and he chose Walnut Street as his home at the corner of Walnut and Elm Street, where I was born, in that two-story building upstairs. That building's still there today. It was built in 1921, and I sold the building, but I have many, many memories of Walnut Street, and grew up during the war at the corner of Walnut Street and Elm Street. That was my home, and I remember the plaza, the theater on Walnut Street. I remember all those things that happened down there on Walnut Street in the beginning of the blues in those early days. During the 40s is when I recall Walnut Street, and it was fantastic. It was wonderful. And I think it ought to go on record, and I propose that we accept these proposals that they have extended tonight, and this council supports their project wholeheartedly.
I second.
Is there a second? Thank you.
So I move that we accept these.
And we have a second. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Masita?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. St. Columbia?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
Yes.
6 yes.
Motion passes. Thank you all for the presentation and your passion. We thank you. Our next order of business at this time is we have Ms. Shirley Garner here to approach the City Council, and this is in regards to water bill inquiry. So at this time, you may come up, Ms. Garner.
Some of the other places in here are familiar. Mr. Stackhouse, of course, my dad worked with you in certain areas for many of years. I too, in my younger days, spent a little time down on Walnut Street, hanging out, eating pig ears and that type of thing, going and getting a few tamales from Pasquale's. That brought back a lot of history. And it also saddens me at the same time, so I'm kind of like them. I want to see us have home back. I know that we won't get 100% back to where we were, but I do know together we can do it. Not just for Walnut Street, but for the city. I'm a little saddened because I'm still not getting anywhere with my issues. And my main issue, I talked with Jackie at the water company. After I found the Facebook page for West Carolina Water Company, I emailed it because in July I didn't get a water bill. It was strange that I've not gotten a water bill in all these years. After I came to the city council meeting and spoke about my issues, I didn't get a water bill. And it was coming close to time for me to pay it. And having just had my water cut off. And she said, let me check into that. So weeks so later, I called her and she said, well, we went ahead and gave you a credit, a $30 credit. Because when I was talking to her, I told her, I said, hey, for 2 weeks out of both of, well, 2 weeks, a week out of both of those months, I had been out of town in the hospital. So wasn't nobody in my house. So now my water bill has gone up with nobody in the house using water. That struck me strange. Then the month that I came in here and talked to you guys, it went up the next month. And I'm out of town for a week. Nobody's at my house. I don't have leaks. So she gave me credit for the for $30 for that second month. That couldn't be explained. But that $323 that was taken from me, there was no explanation. She couldn't explain why my tenants who hadn't paid bills in 90 days didn't have those charges on their bills, but I did. She couldn't explain how their water wasn't cut off for 90 days of non-payment, but you cut mine off when I'm current and actually have a $40 credit. We still haven't figured that out. I want to know. I want to know why those tenants didn't have a late fee, didn't have all those things that was added on to mine that cost me $323 for water. I also talked to her about the sewer issue. I said it was brought up that meeting prior, Larry Delk had spoke about some sewer issues he had. And Mr. Saeed had said they gone over and they had fixed that. I said, but it was said that the machine you need was broken. Well, Attorney Valley had told me that Mr. Saeed said he had went over and he didn't see anything. But my cameras reflect differently. Mr. Saeed never went over. When Mr. Saeed stood in here and said, Ms. Garner, I've been trying to get in touch with you and I really want to talk to you, he still really hasn't gotten in touch with me. So how badly did he want to talk to me? How badly does he want to solve this issue? But what Jackie did tell me is, oh, they misspoke in the meeting. That issue wasn't fixed for him. They got the machine back one day and it broke and it had to go back the next. That's the reason it hadn't been to your house. Oh. So now my question is, did we fix his or did we not fix his? Or is it mine that's been over July, makes it a full year, that I paid $540 to a plumber that says this is the city's issue and I can't flush my toilets in my house if the hole is covered because the sewer backs up into the face bowls and the toilets. Miss Davis is a block over from where you live. You know exactly where that house is at. We've grown up as neighbors for all our lives. I don't understand why we can't do those things. I don't understand how I have all these penalties for a water bill that was paid, but a tenant that actually didn't pay it, water was able to stay on for 90 days that caused me thousands of dollars worth of damages, which goes to when I asked the mayor to cover this because the city was negligent. You got a water manager, a water director, a supervisor, and something else. And out of all them, asked, I said, you were out yesterday. I said, what happened to the meter? I wasn't cutting on meters. See, the day I cut on meters, I don't do this, and I was over here looking. But I said, so you came here, went in the ground and looked, but couldn't place the meter. You was just riding by reading meters. That's what he said he was doing. But he came, looked at the hole, but he couldn't put the meter in that day. So that particular day, I asked him, I said, well, how long will it take you or whatever? He was very rude. He had his phone on his pocket, and it was blasting music. So I'm looking around because I had some other people out there. I'm like, oh, y'all cut that off so I can hear what we're discussing. Oh, that's my phone. I'm trying to have a conversation with you about business, and you have music blasting out your phone, stopping us from being able to hear each other. I take issue with that. I take issue with it. Then I had everything done, called back to the water company, spoke to Jackie within 2 days, and asked for her to have the water cut off because I didn't want a $600 water bill for 24 hours. I don't know if the water's off or not. I haven't received anything from them. I probably should have called her today, but I had a lot of other things I was doing. But I just want to know, how do we communicate with each other? I don't want to holler at people. I don't want to yell. I can be very mean. I can be very rude. I have a motto that says, I treat people how I want to be treated. But at the same time, I can treat you how you treat me. Which one do you want? It's not godly to have to talk to people crazy. It's not respectful when you're asking a person in the best way that you know how to communicate with you, and they would rather let music play on their hip than to have a conversation with you about what they're doing. Get no respect nowhere else, I'm gonna get it at my house. You're looking at me, Maxie, like you're stunned. You've not heard of it. Yeah, we cannot not know that this is how our people at the water department are conducting themselves. We cannot not know this. None of you all have seen or heard this video or heard about this worker? Wow. So they're keeping things pretty quiet. I'm gonna make sure I get that video to you, because someone should have been made aware of that. And whoever those persons were, because it was two. One showed out more than the other one, but the second person had the nerve to follow him up to those people's doorsteps, to their porch, screaming and yelling. With the mom not at home, she's on her camera. Her doorbell camera caught this. And she said, stay there till I get there. I'm on my way home. When they knew she wasn't in the house and was on the way home, they got in their vehicle and disappeared. They shouldn't even have a job today. And I know for a fact they called the water company and complained about what happened. So I just wonder why I got no further. But I did tell that parent, because it hurt my heart to see a special needs child being talked to like that. And another young man retreating in the house, and you throw the shovel or whatever it was and run up on them and tell them about what you'll do to them. That's who we got working for us. If those are the people that we have working for us, we ain't gonna never get held in the back. Never. Now I'm gonna go to prove who she was to the prosecuting attorney, and said it didn't make no difference because she wasn't gonna do nothing anyway. Well, what did you ask me for him for? Then he says, oh, we can't say it's her. But what he didn't know is when I was talking to him, because I know what he does, I was audio recording. He's who identified the young lady on the video. This is who it is. He and Detective Lawson recorded. But then when it gets to the police department, it takes you 9 days to do a 3-sentence police report. And when I finally find out, you never sent a video of her walking past the yard, back and forth, I went to the police department to sign trespassing on breaking and entering and some more stuff, and was told I could not. I got a woman on video that the police identified. I didn't know her name. I called her Black Attack, because she be attacking folks all over the city. Joseph told me that he called over and he talked to Amy Green, and Amy Green did in fact tell him that Cliff Sanders never gave him a video. Well, I got the conversation recorded where he told me that she said she couldn't prosecute her because she did not get all the information. Now, when I asked you that here in a forum, we don't want to talk about that. I don't think so. Call a spade a spade. You know what you told me? That Amy Green said she did not have the videos and she could not accept them from you. Now, when I go home, I'm gonna go to the Book of Faces and I'm gonna start uploading conversations, and I'm gonna help some people get their memory back. Because this is what I don't like. Don't tell me one thing, then when you get in front of somebody else, it's something different. Like when I said you wrote that letter, that demand letter, sitting in your office, and told me to go give it to Sandy, that none of you all never received. Did you receive it the second time? Because Sandy said she sent them all to you. Did she not? Nobody, y'all didn't get it again? Nobody? Y'all looking at me, but nobody's saying nothing, so you didn't get the letter? I mean, if they got it, it would be a yes. If they didn't, it would be a no. And so this is what our city council is doing today. Nobody is saying, yes, I got the letter. No, I didn't get the letter. Sandy, did you send the letter?
Yes, ma'am.
Sandy sent them. Y'all, Maxie, I'm sure you didn't open your email because that's what you told the chief of staff the other week, that you didn't open your email. You don't recall it? So this is my next question. What do you all have emails for if you don't look at them, don't pay attention?
No, what I'm saying is I read my email regularly.
You do?
Yes, I don't recall.
So Sandy, they're saying that you lying. I'm just putting it out here today. I'm trying to figure out who's doing what. Because I really need to know. Because at this point, I'm looking around the table at everybody suspicious.
Ms. Garner, I would just like to say and interject really quickly. Personal matters from citizens usually don't go to city council members. If somebody comes in for an issue over at their property with the grass, with the car, we've had a member, I think the last 2 meetings, or a resident the last 2 meetings that's come in front of the public or the council to address us publicly. But generally those things do not go to the council.
This is generally what I want. You all to do what you're doing now. Not answer questions and say generally this is what we do, because as soon as I came to the last meeting, my father-in-law's had a car, belonged to his dad, an antique car, up under his carport. And your code enforcer, as soon as I made you mad, came over there and put a sticker on that car. And I'm telling you, before God and everybody else, I wish he would move it. Because you got a whole 2 blocks right down the street, I believe, from where you stay at. Been there for 15 years. What are you over there for? Go move them cars. Go move them, because that man ain't bothering you. My father-in-law is dead. And there's no reason out of all the houses and the abandoned cars for you to go after I say what I said about you. The code enforcer shows up over there and puts a sticker on it. It's a nuisance. It's a whole lot of stuff a nuisance. You're a nuisance. And then for everybody to stand here before me tonight and pretend they never got that letter or say they didn't, somebody lying. Or everybody lying. But I'm gonna deal with it in a matter. And Don, that laugh he does, it's on purpose, but I'm not gonna let him piss me off. I'm gonna let him smile because I'm gonna have the last one, and you can believe that.
I don't know if anybody from the body has questions for Ms. Garner. If not, we can move on. Thank you, Ms. Garner. We'll move on to our next order. And I will say, I did make a note of the things that you listed as related to your experience, and so we'll have a conversation as it relates to customer care internally within the departments that will be responsible for your concerns. So we'll have an internal. I just want you to be aware. That conversation would happen within the department. So to be clear, I made a note of your concerns, and for all citizens, like all citizens, we're going to make sure that we address those within the appropriate departments. Thank you again, Ms. Garner. Our next order of business, moving right along, is a water department update. This consists of two things: a project list update as well as uniform proposals. And at this time, Mr. Rose will come up to give us those items.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. All right.
Okay, I'm just gonna start at the top on this, that's on the agenda with the water department update, project list. Beach Street, we are beginning some street opening repairs as of last week, and concrete will literally be poured tomorrow. This is just the beginning, opening of the street. This is after a heavy excavation took place to replace the sewer line. Now, there's still some work that needs to be done with a storm drain that is east on Beach Street of the construction site, which had the road blocked off for over a year now. We're not gonna let that hold up reopening up that street. And so work has begun on cleaning that site up and beginning the first, well, initially we're gonna do a phased approach, but the second part of the phase, I would say, is just getting the street to where traffic can go through and don't have to go around using Miller, or I believe that's Market Street, to get around, and open up driveways as well that has been blocked off due to that construction area. And so that's for Beach Street, but work is being done. That street literally should be open for through traffic by the end of this week. Okay. So that's some good progress on that. Oak Forest, there's been a report of sewage flowing near an address on Oak Forest through the back ditch that's in the woods back there. This sewage I confirmed that it's definitely sewage in there, but it's not directly on private property or customer-owned property. It's in a public area, but it's been reported to ADEQ and the Office of Water Quality that we are aware and working on this particular issue. As of today, I've located the potential source to this sewage leak, and so we will begin excavation tomorrow morning to address the sewer line that I found broken in the woods, pretty much behind the Stonebrook neighborhood in the Midland Heights area. And so we have multiple sewer lines that's in the thickets of these woods, are pretty hard to get to and really hard to track. If there's a manhole or a sewer line broke, it takes some time. It takes a lot of effort and strategy to go into these woods and safely and find out what's going on, then come up with a plan to actually excavate and get machine and equipment back there to do the repairs that's required. And so, but just for this particular issue, we are on top of it, and hopefully this will be resolved by tomorrow once we complete the excavation of the sewer line that I found that is broken. If I have any questions, don't feel free just to shoot them out there. I'm gonna move on to ANRC funding. Now, with our ANRC funding, this is our big loan source of funding on addressing the rehab of our entire water system in Helena and West Helena. Currently, we are in the planning and development, planning and specs phase of West Helena and the Helena plant, but as more so addressing the critical areas needed on the rehab at the West Helena plant. And so these areas are going to include addressing the filtration system and either redesigning or rehabbing what we currently have. Working on the backwash tank, which is the tall tank that's white, right in the center of West Helena. Rehabbing that tank and bringing it back to its full use. Rehabilitating the clear well. This is where the treated water is stored before it goes to the storage tank and is sent to you all. Those are three main areas that, as of now, we're getting close to a plan A or plan B and making a decision on what's going to happen moving forward with those three particular areas with the treatment system, okay? And so we're in full swing of that, which is good. And now the next, just particularly with the ANRC funding, and me and Mr. Willing be presenting something sooner than later when it's official, is doing a smaller loan to do the rehab to the backwash tank. And so actually fully rehabbing that tank while we're doing the plant rehab and getting that back in use, or maybe even repurposing that use moving forward for our treatment system process.
Excuse me, you
Yes,
continue to
sir.
say backwash tank, we're talking on the west side, correct?
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry. I was definitely referring to all of these areas that we're working on as the West Helena treatment plant. Okay, and so we're in full swing of that on the planning and spec phases with the ANRC funding. Now moving to the DRA funding, this is going to be entirely for the West Helena area as well. Is beginning the line distribution replacement. Now the contract that has been accepted and awarded to A&B Construction, and there's not an official date set, but a pre-construction meeting will be set soon, very soon, but we're right in the cusp of actually beginning the construction on this work. And so as soon as I have an official start date, I will provide that, but it's going to be very soon. We're already working on staging equipment, and the plans are already together, and we're definitely going to see work on the ground very soon in the West Helena area on line replacement. Okay.
Do you have an estimate of how much line you're replacing?
It's going to be 23,000 feet of 2-inch galvanized line. Okay. And so that's going to, and once again, this is the first phase. As we get this project underway, going to shift to Helena, doing the same, or working on maybe 23 or 25,000 feet of line, and back to West Helena to continue to hit different areas that we have located for critical line replacement that's needed. So we look forward to this being ongoing and a continuing funding to be able to get this done. Next item we have is US 49 Bridge Line Relocation Project. This is a project under RDOT of the bridge replacement that they're doing. So they're rerouting that bridge, and we're having to reroute a sewer line and possibly a water line. Well, no, we're for sure rerouting a water line and sewer line that's going to be in the pillar area of where they're relocating the bridge. And so this work, there's not an exact date set for this yet, but A&B Construction will most likely be doing the work. They're currently selected and awarded for the work on the DRA grant project. More likely going to be also helping us do this relocation line project, which will not take long at all. And so soon as we get rolling past the pre-construction meeting with the DRA grant, I will be able to inform you all on when that is going to be wrapped up with the ADART bridge project, which will be fairly soon. Our dot has been ready to get some things done and been semi on hold because we have to just make sure our sewer force main is secure and our water line is relocated once they start beginning to put their pillars down on Old Little Rock Road, okay? And so that is all in play, and I'll be able to just, like I say, give some exact dates, and pretty much it's gonna be this bridge location, line relocation is pretty much gonna probably just be a, if max 2 or 3 day project for it to be done and complete and back in service. I have uniform proposals. Okay, so this is an item that's been on the agenda a few times, and let me go back. I've attended to provide the view of 2 contracts with Census Group, contract proposals that I wanted you all to look at, but what ended up happening, only one service agreement was printed out, and I wanted you all to be able to see the cost comparison, but instead of handing these out, what I can do is just read out the numbers that we have. And so once again, this is for the uniform, for employees to have uniform. Uniforms, I mean, since, I would say, it's almost been 6 years I've been here. Within the second, third year of just my employment before I was in the superintendent position, there was no uniforms given or provided. And when I took the superintendent position, we were paying for a service we was not using. With I believe R Mark was the name. They're no longer in business now, but it's been a while since the employees at the water department had uniforms. The current uniforms that you may see myself in, or a few of my more tenured employees, are literally ripped to shreds. I mean, washed them so many times, falling apart. We're pretty hard on our own personal clothing, and so I think it's really not only a requirement to have the uniform. It's really important to get our guys uniforms, and when it comes to, I know we have water trucks pulling up, but just to be in an actual service uniform, it's going to speak volume. Requirement by policy. Weather. Now, when it gets cold, we need jackets. You know, when it gets warm, we need short sleeves. And so one option that was presented that is going to be in these numbers that I'm going to present with Census Group is that they're going to be able to switch out, you know, when we need jackets or thicker wear. When the temperatures start dropping, they'll be able to provide that. That is all included in these initial numbers that I'm about to give, as well as shirt repair, as I mentioned, and I believe there's going to be like a weekly check-in. There's an accessible portal that new hires, we have to grow the staff. I mean, that's when we're going to really start being able to address more issues that we hear about, that's spoken about, is having more personnel to be on site to address this issue. And so just having a service that we can plug in numbers, boom, get uniforms made, would be a big help, you know, instead of just buying outright, okay? And so what we have here is a 5-year agreement and a 3-year agreement. I'll start with the 5-year agreement first. And so for the 5-year agreement, the price per week is $128.24. That's per week. Price per year would be $6,668.98. Price total over a 5-year period, this would be for $33,344.90. And this is for, this amount was tailored for, I believe, 12 employees. And so this would just be the field staff. So that's, I mean, pretty decent when fully uniformed and 12 employees. And this is a 5-year agreement. Now, the next is 3-year agreement. So this is a shorter term agreement. Price per week would be $142.52. Price per year would be $7,391. And price over 3-year totaled out would be $22,175.40. And so clearly, looking at this, the 3-year agreement seemed to be more middleable for just cost-wise. It seemed to be actually a little cheaper. I thought it was going to be opposite with the 5-year. But like I said, that was my intention to show a breakdown. And if you all would like to view this, I can pass it out. But this is just one agreement. This is not the cost comparison of the weekly and uniform advantages, emblem, pretty much everything. I kind of went into a little bit on what we'll be paying for with these amounts. And quality, I showed more favoritism towards this particular company because they have good material. Through the sampling shirts that I saw and the style of shirts that we're going to go with are a little bit more dry fit, a little bit more breathable to where it's not as hot as cotton. And even the pants, the durability of the pants seem to be a little thicker and just a bit better quality, which is in the price for sure, but it'll last longer. And at the end of the day, I really feel our field staff deserve to have some solid clothing to wear during work. So that concludes my pitch for the uniforms. Any questions?
Does the body have any questions? I have a suggestion that I think, I don't want to speak for anybody, but I think it would be good for us to see the other quote as well, to just compare both.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was definitely my intention tonight, was to provide that. And so we can, well, actually I'll do a better one. I can send this out email as well, because I have both of these in email format, so that can go out immediately, so you just can see the cost comparison and the breakdown of what we'll be paying for.
Are there any objections to that? Any objections?
Mr. Rose, didn't we look at this before?
I believe so.
I thought we were going to approve this.
Yeah,
We
I
were
think
just waiting on
there
y'all
was
to get back with us.
Yeah, there was, I believe it was even on the agenda to waive competitive bidding at a point, so I didn't know if you all was able to really look at these agreements or not. But
Yeah,
yes, this
I thought
was-
we were just waiting on y'all to get back with us. Well, I don't remember where we left off. Because you guys came to us, and then the fire department.
Right, yeah, the landfill as well. Yeah.
And landfill as well.
So it just kind of got shifted off the agenda, so I didn't.
Yeah, I thought we had already approved this. Did we?
We hadn't approved it. The ordinance was drafted, but.
Okay, no, not the ordinance. No, we did not approve a mandatory ordinance for mandatory uniforms, but we did approve you guys purchasing. I thought we did.
No, we drafted a ordinance to waive competitive bidding. But at some point you all tabled it and we haven't addressed the issue again. I don't know if they were providing additional information.
Okay.
But all of those were tabled and we didn't come back to it yet. The body hadn't come back to it yet.
Okay.
But I have no problem sending this out. You know, I'll get just a quick second just to compare the prices, look at what we're actually trying to move forward with, and then we can possibly make a decision.
I do believe we can make a decision by our next meeting, given the second set of numbers. I think so, for sure.
I have an unrelated question.
Yes, please.
Considering the statements tonight by Ms. Shirley Garner, you mentioned Beach Street and Oak Forest. Have you checked again on Carranza Street, the property that she's talking about?
Yes, that was actually immediately done when me and you spoke, and it was brought to my attention that there was still an issue going on over there. We took our sewer jetter when it was available and ready, directly over to actually before the mentioned Larry Dell situation, and we found that that line was not collapsed, and we were able to run our jetter to where the flow in that particular area that's coming down South Bonanza, which is behind the mentioned property, was flowing. And so that brought my conclusion that there's something possibly going on with the tap to the sewer main, which is it's a common issue. I mean, when your service tap is obstructed or something is wrong, we're responsible for repairing the main. And you could definitely have blockage in your own line and the sewer line is still flowing, and we won't really be able to detect what's going on by jetting, using our jetting machine. And so, moving forward, I will revisit this and actually investigate a little further on, is the tap could literally just be pushed in, which could cause, if it's pushed in, it'll cause blockage in our main line, but it could be collapsed and pushed in, and we're just jetting right by it and don't even know. And so that could be the cause of sinking ground. And could be basically a collapse or breakage in the customer line as well. But between our investigation and working with local plumbers or whatever plumber that is assigned particularly to that address or the other addresses, we can look at it and make sure, our due diligence and that our, city main is flowing and try our best to help resolve that situation. And,
Did you also speak to Quarterbone?
Yeah, I did. I would rather share off record.
Yes, sir.
What was told on that particular situation. But like I say, I'm gonna re-look into it and just make sure we didn't miss anything because I'm thinking, like I say, the connection point of the sewer line and the customer line, it could be something going on there that we can help resolve sooner than later.
One other thing, Mr. After the last meeting, I asked you about the new well.
Yes, sir.
And to ask you next time you come, give another update. So
Yes.
That's by my microphone's right.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Can you give us an update on the status of the new well?
Yeah, for sure. That's what I want to leave the evening talking about. Now, update on the new well. Okay, let me just back up. We had this well put in service online. It was officially sending water into the system in October of 2024. It was a glorious time. Brought us a little relief that we needed much at the time. And so from October 2024 all the way to 2025, let's just say October, let's just really much say September, October 2025, we ran that well nonstop. We did our best to get the leaks down to the to a minimum to give the treatment plant a break. Basically what I mean by giving the treatment plant a break is when the plant can cut off, wells cut off, high service pumps cut off, everything cut off and rest. Unfortunately, we just did not get to that point. We did, but not as much as we needed to be able to give that new well a break. And so it ran nonstop until fall of last year. And we noticed it started, the flow coming into the plant started to drop. And so when we noticed this, first thing the plant operator did was turn on our existing wells, which what we were running on previously before the installation of the new well. Okay, so around fall last year, we started running 2 additional wells along with the new well. This is what we had to do to keep up with demand, to keep filling the tank, to keep the plant cycling, and doing what we needed to do best as we could to address the leaks while this was all happening, okay? So we were able to get through the winter with this process of just new well, not by itself, but with the existing 2 wells running with the new well. What we noticed, soon as the weather broke, after we got through our freeze and was able to just kind of breathe a little bit because the weather was letting up, getting a little bit warmer, that's when we started doing our investigation on the new well just to see what was going on. That well was supposed to produce at least 1,200 gallons per minute, and what our plant needs to operate and be able to send water everywhere throughout the system, keep the storage tank full, keep the system cycling, is at least over 1,200 gallons per minute. Okay, that's minimum. The plant is actually designed for 22,000 gallons per minute. Our high service pumps that I'm always coming up here mentioning about, they're designed at minimum to push 1,600 gallons per minute. So when we have little issues, it throws a lot off because we're underperforming. We're still underperforming, even with the new well. Okay, so when we noticed that new well was not producing 1,200 gallons per minute, we did start running tests. We contacted, first thing was informing Mr. Weiling and his group, and he got in touch with Jeff Jones, who actually did the installation of the well. I actually got Arkansas Rural Water involved as well. And this is around February going into March of this year. And to find out that the new well flow dropped below 500, I'll just say shortly. So we were producing actually more out of our old existing wells that we've had because we let them sit for a while, and they were pretty much keeping up the flow to let us get anything out of the new well. And this was around March, as I say, we noticed that, okay, we have an issue, okay? So we're seeing that the new well was underperforming, and we pretty much primarily started running off 3 wells that we've had before, our well 7, 8, and 10. And so our system has literally been running off of those 3 wells since earlier this year. And now our findings on the geological sample that was taken was 2 things. We could have a increase in the iron that's in the ground, that's in the spar. That's where we tapped into, going a little bit more than 600 feet to tap into the aquifer to pull water with that particular new well. And so not only here, but across the Delta, there's been reports of very high iron that is clogging up wells. And so we're seeing that this is something that's just not an isolated situation. This is a geological situation as well. And so not only is the iron possibly causing the well to underperform, we also have 4 wells that we're currently running, that's in a very small vicinity. It's in a
Close proximity.
Close proximity, thank you. And so that could be another thing that we have to really look at. I know we were in a hurry to get more water into the system, but we're pulling really hard within a 2-mile radius, if that, at most. And so now we're looking at moving forward on how do we address this well underperforming that we just spent $1 million to get, and we got online, and now we still use it, but just rarely. Pretty much when our plant flow drops too low, backwashing needs to happen, or there's any type of emergency situation, we kick on that new well, and we were instructed to only use it with all the other wells. We cannot run that new well by itself. We actually have to run all 4 wells at the same time to get the best production that we can out of that particular well. And so now we're looking at a chemical cleaning, and this is to remove the iron, any blockage or clog that could be on the screen where the water is coming through. Doing the cleaning to see if we can boost that production back up out of that particular well. Excuse me, and looking at doing a chemical cleaning on our well 8. And I'm backing up again a little bit. When we got the new well installed, initially it was proposed that we get our other wells chemically cleaned while they're resting, and we wasn't using them. And so that didn't happen. Not gonna get into that, that's the past now, but we need that to happen now, at least be able to get more production out of our existing wells that we're running constantly now, and then moving to do chemical treatment to our new well, and see what position that'll put us in moving forward, especially going into the winter, which is coming up pretty fast on us. Okay, and so this is just in discussion. This is what we're looking at doing on addressing this. But the major action moving forward is planning on, we need another well, and getting that process started. Okay? And so Mr. Willing has informed me that he's already looking and selecting locations that will be outside of where we have our existing wells, and moving forward on that, which from my understanding that the ANRC loan can cover a second well. That we've been planning anyway, but moving this up to a priority that we're focusing on, with the current issues that we're having.
So you answered every question that I was going to ask.
Okay.
We should. I'm saying you answered. So
okay.
To be clear, we need to start looking at a new well sooner rather than later.
Yes, and that's going to be the ultimate fix.
What you're saying, I'm remembering the same thing happening. It sounds like well number 9 all over again.
Right. And so now with well number 9 is abandoned. We're not using it. But it's essentially the same cycle.
Yes, sir. And-
Again, just a little, let's just say, because I mean, this well is not even 2 years old.
Yes, sir.
But I think it's more so of a location thing. You know, well now is just across the way from where the new well is right now. And so we really need to make sure that, yes, it's gonna be more expensive, it's gonna be more challenging connecting a raw water line to the existing raw water line going into the treatment plant in West Helena. But we need to get out of that area so we're not exhausting that aquifer.
Right. Part of the reason why this was selected was we were under emergent circumstances where you had to have it done. And well 9 is right over by Jackson and Highland, and so we had the Boys and Girls Club here, and you want to tap into a similar area to get the water as quickly as possible, and we try to do it in emergent circumstances.
Right.
The expense is far greater for doing another well somewhere else
Far greater.
and running all those lines, and that's more time consuming.
Right.
And so we do need another well. When the city contemplated doing this well under emergent circumstances, we were informed by Smith and Wyland that there were other wells that were needed all over West Helena and Helena. And so it's critical that we know what's going on with the wells, but we also need to be planning for another well and another well thereafter.
Right, right. So just to recap, short term is scheduling chemical treatment for the existing well 8 that we're using constantly, and the new well, just to see if we can get more production out of it. Because it could just be built up with iron, we do a chemical cleaning, and we're rolling back at a higher value coming into the treatment plant. Immediate is actually just beginning the process of getting the new well ground selected, and that process started on moving that up from a year down the line to literally right now. we gotta go ahead and start planning that out and see what's gonna take for that to happen.
Are there any other questions from the body at all?
I got one, and this is a landmine, a grenade. I'll throw it out here. Everybody watching this meeting wants to ask questions about the water bills. That's the question on everybody's mind. The bills go from here to there and everywhere. And I don't expect you to have an answer at this point, and they vary. Mine varies. It might be one amount this month, and the next month the usage shows on the bill that it's way up beyond what I could imagine. So I just want to plant this seed. We need a way to assure people that these are being calculated properly. And we keep answering questions about this, but I don't think we're assuring anybody that it's being calculated properly. And so I just want to put that on your mind. I want to plant that seed. And to that, I would say sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I mean, I really don't have any objection of talking a little bit about that this evening. Now, it's not an all-in solution. This is not going to solve everyone's particular situation with the bill discrepancy or the high or low spike that you may see in bills. But one thing that I do want to assure you all, that our meters are not entirely going bad or outdated. These meters that we have, and I'm particularly mentioning the electronic meters that is mostly throughout the entire system. Most of the billing is coming through the electronic meters. Have a 20-year lifespan, 15 to 20-year lifespan. This is not saying anything wrong cannot happen, but I've been informed that when these meters were initially put in the ground, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, 8, you all may kind of recall when went through the process of getting the new electronic meters. These particular meters were chosen for their longevity and lack of need of troubleshoot or replacement. Okay, and so that was the first thing. Are our meters going bad, or do we still have life to our meters? Can our meters be calibrated? These particular meters that we're using are not, you cannot calibrate them. There is a simple mechanism to where the water flows through, it calculates. Now, if there's a blank screen or basically you can't detect or see the reading on the electronic meter, we have a warranty on them to where they can get sent in and replaced. Or if there's a blockage, maybe obstruction of a rock or maybe a little mud or something get caught in there, that can cause the meter to not read accurately of the flow that's going through there. That's one thing we just got to keep in mind. Now, with the various situations of the billing, one step I took upon myself is to actually go out and do readings myself. That's what I'm doing this month. I did some last month. And we're actually just looking at, okay, to make sure our systems are working, I've updated basically the tablets that the service techs use to get readings. And so just to make sure the equipment is working and pulling the best information that it can pull. Now, as I'm constantly assessing that, is looking at what you all as customers are able to see. And so one, I would say minor solution that I think can help us moving forward, since we're not moving to replace all the meters, is actually using cellular read antennas. And bringing the cellular read antenna is basically just changing the antenna that's on the existing meter to where we still can get the information we need when we're doing readings with our tablet and our equipment. And you all will actually be able to download the app and see the usage through your phone. And so I think that'll be some justice to, okay, instead of waiting on us to come provide a profile or to figure out what's going on, you can actually see it yourself on your phone. And so this is a service that Badger Meter can help us provide. Now, this can't all happen for everybody at once, but I think we slowly can phase these cellular devices onto these meters to provide more of a balance of accountability on if we're getting the right readings or not, okay? And so what helps me to identify situations is pulling a profile to see the usage. When usage spikes maybe at the middle of the night when you know you're asleep or you're not even at home, we know there's something going on. And so I know it's our job to provide the best information we can, but just with the limited staff, we're not able to provide profiles for everybody on the spot as soon as it's requested, you know, and that's, we're working on that. We're gonna continue to work on that. But I just wanted to put that out there. I think that's something we can look at providing to customers to, you know, get some better information on what's going on with these meters. And we'll continue to check the meters. I mean, first thing, if it's any type of decimal off or just inaccurate reading after a reread, of course, replacing the meters. But I don't want to keep replacing the meters with the same meters that we maybe had at another site. I don't think that's doing us justice, you know, when it comes to getting an in or out removal read, which is how I really determine if your usage, or let's just say if the meter is calculating accurately on the usage, that's the best method to do it. And so I do propose that we move forward with getting some new meters. I did it last year, and now when we're looking at getting a new meter, I think it's a Generation 3 or Generation 2 now. They're going to read very accurate. They're designed a little bit more like the older meters, the copper meters with the reading dial, so you can actually see, you see the dial spinning yourself. It's not a digital read, but it performs just.
Are there any questions based on the information that's been provided to y'all? Today, we operated with using the walk behind. We had to pull the commercial truck off of the commercial route to use that as the other residential truck. So we used a 2-yard truck. I say we because I was out there, myself and Levon. Shout out to Levon. He had me running. So we were actually running from house to house, grabbing cans, dumping them in the overhead, and then overhead to take it up and dump it. We moved the boom truck to the commercial route, which means that there's now going to be a gap in that debris and brush pickup. So yeah, just said it to say we could use a couple of side loaders that would make it more efficient. You guys asked me to look for some more trucks. I did search for more trucks. We actually met with somebody from Tri-State Friday. He was able to identify 3 2020 side loaders. They have about 250,000 miles. I know that mileage was a point of contention in terms of the trucks. He said they would fit within the price range. He just hasn't been able to give me any information in regards to the price because apparently the dealers are still working out a trade for those vehicles, which still leads us to the ones that we have found. You guys have been provided with proof of operation. They work, they run. You asked for warranties. We were able to get a warranty from the one in Memphis. However, I mean, this is just a general warranty service. So like, we could put the truck that we own right now on it if we wanted to. Only thing with that is that, again, this is something where trucks have to fall within 12 years old. So that kind of takes out that Michigan one. But the other part of that is, it's saying that you can't have any codes on any of the trucks to be able to sign them up for the warranty. Again, we're talking about trucks that are like 11 years old, 150,000 miles. I'm sure they have at least some type of code that's gonna pop up on it. I mean, my truck is 6 years too. It has a check engine light on. I mean, so that could be the deal breaker. I did ask that if he could show proof of no codes. Hasn't been able to get back to us on that one yet. Yeah, so is there any other information you guys need from us in regards to that? Trash pickup has been pretty hard.
I want to just add two things that weren't stated. 32 is a sidearm, and that truck was temporarily repaired, because it did go back to overheating. That's been the issue with that truck. And then as well, what you also have on your table in front of you is the total for the auction, the items, the total that was proposed for the items that would be auctioned off from the sanitation yard, which I believe, I'm not looking at it directly, I believe it's around $17,000.
$17,500.
Yeah. So that does, if we moved with one truck at least, that does cover essentially half the price of a truck that's priced at $30,000, a little more than half of that truck. And we have attempted, as I just said, to go the route of repairing what we do have, and there are some issues that those trucks are still having.
I think it is. I think it also is worth noting that, I mean, we had a month of really good trash pickup. I think it shows that they are capable of performing well when they have proper equipment. Side loaders were part of that, and so that's why we are adamant about getting a couple of side loaders. And like you said, one would do. I mean, you guys would feel comfortable moving forward with at least one, the one from Memphis, if that's the one that you guys feel is best. It'll save y'all some shipping until we can maybe get some numbers on the 2020 models that Tri-State is helping us identify. But yeah, up to y'all.
So if I heard you correctly, you said that when it comes to the warranty, that if there's any sort of code on the truck, then you're more than likely not going to be able to secure a warranty.
Yeah, they said in order to, for them to be eligible for warranty, a mechanic must put it on the computer. The computer has to show 0 codes.
Okay, and so we have not been able to put that truck in Memphis on a machine?
I asked the foreman to reach out to the seller, and he said the seller just hasn't provided it to him yet. That's not to say that it does have codes, doesn't have codes. We just haven't gotten that information from the dealer. A truck before you got to start worrying about the engine. And the part about that is, so yeah, the trade-off would be, remember we brought this up around, the older the truck is, apparently, the more issues you might have with the arm. And side loader is a really mechanical truck. So the 2020 advantage would be, while it's not high mileage, it's not a lot of years on the arm. And so you wouldn't be looking at replacing the arms on the truck.
I mean, just from sight, it looked like it was in good shape. But I mean, of course, you can't, I don't know how much you can tell just by looking at it.
Yes, sir.
We need to back up about two weeks backwards. We talked here in this body about going ahead and renting out the sanitation.
Contracting out. Yeah, contracting out sanitation.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I think you said renting out, contracting it out, yes.
Contracting it out.
Yes, sir.
So if we're gonna contract this out, which is gonna be very beneficial to the city, we need to go ahead and sell the trucks that we have right now. Don't buy any more trucks. Take the money that we've got and start paying our bills.
So I think you bring up a good point in terms of paying bills.
I can't
I think
hear
you bring up a really good point in terms of paying bills. So currently, our sanitation fees are really what we rely on to pay some of those bills as well as salaries. And so if we decide to contract that out, you guys gotta realize that we're gonna be operating each month with less money than we have been. While we have been operating in a deficit already, that $110,000 that we probably get off of sanitation fees a month goes towards paying old bills, goes towards paying salaries. So when you contract this out and you're now obligating yourself to pay somebody monthly, that's less money that you're gonna be bringing in each month, and that's gonna put us in more of a bind. But, I mean, it's however
We'll
you
have
guys
less,
look at it.
we'll have
However you
less,
look at it.
less people to pay because they're not gonna be driving trucks. We're not gonna have the people on sanitation payroll.
Let me ask you this, even with that, it wouldn't happen overnight, would it? I mean,
Yeah, it would take time for them to transition it out.
how long? About, I mean, I'm asking you something, right? I'm just trying to-
I'm not necessarily sure, but it's
Just
definitely
to-
not fast. Like,
just to
I'm
get the-
hearing around like 6 to 12 months potentially.
Yeah, just to get the trucks from a third-party vendor. The second biggest, Republic as the second biggest company in the country is saying it would take them at least 4 to 5 months to get the trucks. So they would be renting trucks for us to use whenever that agreement would be accepted, should it be accepted from the city. But there's a wait for them to even find trucks. So that just kind of paints the picture too around how tedious the search has been for finding vehicles. So it wouldn't be quick.
I mean, so really, for all practical purpose, even if we do consider to look at contracting, we need to look at doing something now to address the issue now. I don't want to go back to where we were before with trash on the side of the road. I don't. I just can't. I can't do it no more. We got to make a decision.
How many trucks do we have that are operational right now?
Right now, we have our knuckle boom truck, we have our overhead truck, and we have our walk behind. They were all purchased last year in January 2025.
So we do have 3 operational trucks.
Yes, ma'am. The knuckle boom truck works on debris and brush. The overhead does our commercial businesses, and the walk behind, because it's smaller than the side loaders, they usually do the courtesy/handicap routes for people who aren't able to get their trash and everything to the road. Or if it's a narrow road that the truck doesn't fit on, they usually go down those.
So if we were able to approve maybe the one in Memphis tonight, if we could, would that help?
Yeah, it would. I mean, yeah, we would just be using the walk behind for courtesy and for the other half of that route.
Okay. So, I'm saying that, but I'm just still gonna be frank with you. The concern I have is, you know, just like you said, that 2020 has 200 and something thousand miles on it. And then we're looking at a 2013 that only has 100,000 miles on it. I mean, it kind of makes you, I pause a little bit. I'm just gonna be honest. But, you know, I know that we have to have trash pickup, so I'm just putting that out there.
If I may now.
I really need to
if
get back to talking about farming this sanitation out, because I know we're gonna have to buy several police cars. And that was brought up about a month ago or 2 months ago at this meeting, and we told them that we would help them get some police cars. They wanted 10. Maybe they can get by with 5 or 6, but those cars are not gonna be free.
I understand that.
And I think we need police cars more than we need a sanitation truck when we can farm this out. The money that you picked up selling those items, and then selling the trucks that we have, and not having to pay to get a truck repaired in Memphis or wherever we have to send it, we don't need to be spending money. We're spending money like water. When I came to work here, we were $13 million in the hole. And in 1 year, in about a year and a half, we're now $4 million in the hole. And we're still spending money. Now, where do y'all think we can get this money? And the police department needs cars. And I think that's very important. So is trash pickup important, but not if we can just farm it out, like a lot of these other cities do. They farm out the pickup for their sanitation. We don't need any more trucks. We don't need any more repair bills. We don't need it. First of all, we got to have people that know how to repair trucks. And evidently, we don't have that. So why should we have all these headaches that we don't need? The biggest headache that we need is to get some police cars for the policemen. That's number one. Number two is sell what we've got and hire or to farm out our sanitation department. If you start putting a pencil to it, we'll break even or come out ahead.
Not necessarily so. The practical issue you ought to look at, the city council in charge of finances, you ought to look at what is your short-term solution. Whether it's purchasing one, whether it's purchasing two, you need a short-term solution. You all still need to evaluate long-term solutions as well. Mr. Cena, you raised a valid point, but the issue also, you haven't looked at the countervailing argument to that. If we contract our sanitation out, the city's going to have to buy however many vehicles they get. They're going to pass on the cost to the citizens. Whether they have one truck, two truck, whether they have a commercial truck, they're going to pass that cost on to the citizens.
Now, wait a minute.
Let me finish, please. The issue is we're not going to do a contract with anyone and they're going to lose money. So they're going to look at whatever they have to do to make sure that they have equipment to service this community and make sure that it lasts for the duration of the contract, and then that bill is going to be passed on to the city. So the question that I've asked you all to look at a while ago is an apples-to-apples comparison. What is it going to cost? What is the actual cost for the city to operate the sanitation department? And what will be the cost for contracting it out? Either way, there's going to have to be some trucks purchased.
Wait a minute, we don't.
Wait, Mr. Messina, at this point, the question I think that they're trying to get to is whether you want to do a short-term solution and buy a truck, because these trucks are not long-term solutions.
No.
The long-term solution, eventually you're going to have to deal with the trucks. Now, Mr. Messina, as you addressed the police department does need equipment, but so does the sanitation department. And I think you all have to have that open discussion as to what is the value. And the question tonight is this. Nobody in this city wants to go back to where the trash wasn't being picked up. And the issue before the body at this point is, okay, what's your practical short-term solution to making sure that sanitation goes forward?
I also just want to add that as it relates to the discussion around police vehicles versus sanitation trucks, the sanitation trucks are at least able to be bought from the street fund. That's money that you would have to come up out of the general fund to be able to purchase those police vehicles. And so that's why I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying we found a way that the city treasurer said would work to be able to purchase these vehicles now. You can get with Miss Sandy around the things that she found in terms of the police vehicles and the ways that she found a way to potentially get those leased. But again, the question is about the sanitation trucks and whether or not y'all gonna move forward buying one or two or none. That's just y'all decision.
If we farm this out, the sanitation, why do we have to pay or provide trucks for them? They should have their own trucks.
They're going to pass the cost to us, to the citizens, the city of Helena-West Helena. They would have their own trucks, but are you giving away liquor at the liquor store free?
Sometimes.
Most people are buying it. It's the cost of business. You got to provide all the equipment. And that's what I'm saying. Part of the equipment.
Sanitation and liquor store, that don't even compete.
It does. It's business.
No,
when they come in, they're going to pass the cost of operating their business on to the contractee. When they contract with us, they are going to say, here are all our costs. We're going to pay for all of our costs, and we're going to have to make a profit. That's why I use liquor in terms of it's business. And so the thing is, they're going to make a profit. Every bit of gas that they spend, every bit of personnel that they spend, every bit of equipment they cost, all the tires, everything, the cost of doing business, is gonna be included in their contract price. Because they're gonna recoup everything that they're supposed to, that they want and make a profit. They're not gonna do it for free. That's a business contract.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I see. I'm very much interested in looking at eventually, potentially looking at other possibilities, whether it's contracting. But for now, that's what I'm hearing is that's at the earliest 6 months, and most of the time 6 months turns into a year. Right now, we need trash picked up now. I think we need to be seriously considering something to deal with the situation now. We've got a pretty much affordable truck, which it is a risk because it's a lower, it's a risk. But also too, it's a lower risk. It's 30 grand, and we also have the balance of the scraps on everything else. I think we need to move forward in it and get this truck. Because right now I don't see any other options, and we come and we talk about this every meeting, but we got to pick up the trash. So with that being said, I'm gonna stick it out there. I'd like to make the motion that we purchase this truck from Memphis and waive competitive bidding and all that other language.
Which one is that? What's the price of that one?
The 30,000.
30,000. What ordinance number is that?
We'd have to place it on third and final reading.
That'll be 14.
Final bid,
So is there a second to the motion?
If I may correct the record, your motion is to place ordinance number 14, 2026, suspended rules and place it on third and final reading. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll? We did have a second to adopt that, the official contract. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mr. St. Columbia?
No.
Mr. Messina?
No.
Dr. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Davis? Yes. Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Etherly?
Yes.
The age, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how y'all need to approve that to just like if it
Just
if we
give you
do put it on
permission
the
to-
computer and it doesn't come up with code, then to go ahead and add
Just
it.
come back to us. Just come back to us.
Come back to you, sure.
Just come back to us and
For sure.
not a motion, just.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Are y'all
Yeah.
interested? Are you
Just like,
interested?
if it has to go, because y'all will also have to decide what type of warranty y'all will get put on a lot, whatever that.
I mean, I would be
require
interested
for it
just to see if it might not even be worth it, but at least I'd be interested. If it.
I think you got about a warranty now.
Say it again.
If the warranty is available, I think you got to buy it at the time of purchase. So the warranty probably be less than the mayor's spending authority, but you all still have to make the appropriation.
Is that right though? I mean, this is kind of like an external one. This is like a gap
Yeah,
insurance kind of like.
this is the one that's like provided through the dealer. This is a third-party warranty company.
Yeah.
So you just kind of can add stuff to it as long as it falls within the age, mileage, and,
Kind of like gap insurance, kind of.
I guess in this case, what is it called? Basically, making sure that it operates with no issue. The fact that it comes in not damaged already. Yeah.
I would like to say for the record, though, this is a Band-Aid, and that's really all it is. And I was only compelled to vote for it because I do not want the citizens to do without garbage pickup. But I'm gonna say again, I do not think it is a prudent spending of our taxpayer dollars on what could potentially be a bunch of lemons. And I'm looking at this last sheet back here, and we've got this scrap. There's already like 3 garbage trucks back here that, we're not able to use. And I'm saying all that just to say this. If we don't decide to contract the services out, I would like us, if we just buy one good truck at a time, if that's what it takes, just one at a time, to get our fleet up, I would like us to do that.
I understand. I mean, I'm not necessarily against that. My thing was that we just wanted 2 for right now, so that we can be able to get into some normalcy. And then what y'all do down the line, or a lot for us to be able to purchase a newer truck, that's completely up to y'all. I just know right now we don't have the funds or we don't really have the funds to be looking for something that's shiny.
Yeah. And provide some training. I know I've been saying this since I've been on the council.
Again, y'all, we had those trucks for a month. We returned them, y'all. The only thing that they said was that the tire tread was low. They didn't damage those trucks. Okay. So I'm gonna say that I just don't want us putting out this narrative that we have drivers that don't know how to drive when they had new trucks for a whole month and they went back and the dealer said, hey, the tread was just
not in that situation, but like in some of the others. Like we had like one, and I'm not throwing anybody on the bus.
Oh, no, I get you.
We had one truck we bought like a year ago, a year or two, and it's already broke down.
No.
Okay.
So like even the one that went to Memphis that was there for those like 3 months, that wasn't really like a big issue in terms of driving as much as like.
No, not the commercial one. It was like wasn't it another truck that we purchased? And like a year or two later, it was already.
All 3 of the trucks that we had
that could be a false narrative, I heard, but that's what I was told, that there was a truck. Okay, and that could be false information.
And to speak to some of the things around,
I was told
the mechanic part of it, y'all, like some of these trucks do have issues every once in a while. Okay, and they get fixed in house, and we're able to put them back on the street immediately. And so that's not something that, like, again, I want to make sure that we're not putting a narrative out that we don't have a decent mechanic and that we don't have decent drivers, because I see these guys working every day and they're doing their job.
Okay. And that's definitely not my narrative.
Oh, no, for
I
sure,
just want to
for
make sure that when you get
an
expensive piece of machinery like that people know how to use it.
That was more so for the public, because again, I feel like there's also a lot of misinformation around, because I keep hearing, well, what happened to the new trucks we bought last year? The new trucks that we bought last year are still operational. They still are covered under warranty. And the things that we are able to fix that aren't covered under warranty, the mechanic fixes.
I got you. Okay, thank you, sir.
Just as a footnote, on that property, to sell from sanitation, there'll have to be an ordinance passed approving that.
Yeah, that's why I also gave that to y'all too, though, to even approve of the fact that anything was going to be moved off the lot. Yeah.
It's my understanding, and the secretary, the clerk can correct me if I'm wrong, but we approved the sale of those items back in October or September of 2025.
You know, the ordinance, I think, with Richard auctions or something like that.
Yeah, that's the same guy we're going through.
Sanitation.
For sanitation.
I don't remember that. I'll say this on the sanitation trucks. We've gone this route before, purchased used sanitation trucks, and they barely ran. And so it's a crapshoot one way or another, but we can't, we're at a position where we can't do nothing. That's not an option. So we have to do something to at least try to pick up the garbage.
And I mean, on our end, we've done as much due diligence as possible, y'all. Like, we've got them vetted and got proof of life. They operate. There's some good lemons. If there's some lemons, y'all, I'm sorry. Like.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. We appreciate you. Thank you. And I want to just give the body an option. It is 8:30. I want to be respectful and mindful of your time. I am able to continue this meeting, but I do not know everyone's schedule at this time. So I want. Do we feel like this needs to be tabled, or?
I think all of these can be. These are like they can be tabled, right?
Councilman Messina.
Mr. Mayor, this body is solely fixated on garbage trucks. What's this I got in the mail that y'all sent me? It reads, let me see. Energy is seeking a substantial down payment on the debt and then a monthly set amount. Energy says the city owes approximately $554,757, and the water sewer department owes $146,000. Some of these charges go back as far as 40 years, and legally there is a 3-year statute of limitations on some outstanding debts. So what are we gonna do about that? We're gonna go to now we're gonna be at $4,200,000 in debt?
That was an item that was placed on the agenda at the last meeting.
I can't hear you.
That was an item that was placed on the agenda, not at the last meeting, but 2 meetings ago. And so where we are now is that I'm going to give time to the city attorney. They've negotiated a certain amount of forgiveness for us. They've sent the exact amount that we, as the city, would owe, the city of Helena-West Helena owes, and pretty much similar to what you just read, and the amount that the water department owes. And so I'm going to make sure that the city attorney looks at that before we commit to anything. I did bring that to the table because I wanted to make sure that the body was aware, but also had some say in how that got prioritized.
Before we commit to anything, we just voted on buying another truck.
Well, the truck isn't a necessity. Yeah, we did the truck. It was either purchase a truck or spend money potentially renting or
Paying off our bills. What's wrong with paying off our debt? $4 million in debt. And I don't like to be on a situation that Mr. Messina is sitting up on a $4 million debt and has not done one thing to clear the debt. It seems kind of stupid on our part.
We're going to make sure we're going to make sure that list gets reviewed by our city attorney to make sure that we have the most accurate accounts as possible. I will say that I don't think those go back quite 40 years, but some of those I think
Well, even if it's 30 years, even if it's 30 years.
Understood. But I do.
We're supposed to be intelligent people that's sitting on this council, and we're not acting very intelligently on what we're doing. I've been watching what's been going on since I've been on this council, and not a penny has been paid toward the debt. Maybe y'all love living in debt. I don't.
I appreciate your comment is noted, Mr. Messina, and I echo and share your sentiment that paying the debts is a priority. And like I said, that list hit the table 2 meetings ago, and that is a conversation we're having. So I just want you to know that I echo your sentiments that's serious. I do want to go back to my previous question, though. It looks like we've packed up, so if we do feel like these items can be tabled, community service ordinance proposal, resolution establishing uniform rules, and receipt reimbursement ordinance, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Meeting adjourned.
Record